Music theory is just too complicated. It's just too complicated. I don't want to do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. It's too hard. Are you serious right now? I'm doing it anyway. Every musician deserves to have this knowledge. Hey, my name is Nick McLean, and this is the NM Music Channel, where we talk about anything and everything related to the modern musician, from performing to education to running and managing a music business. Alright, so I want to change the thought that music theory is too complicated. It's not that complicated. And I think with a little bit of time, you'll probably agree with me too. It can actually help you to understand music, it can help you to learn it faster, and it can help you to be a better musician on a higher level. My dad always used to say, the more you know, the more you want to know. So let's dive in here. Here are 5 different things that you should be able to do with music theory after about 2 years. I could even say 1 year, but I'm giving it 2 years just for the sake of this video. Let's find out what they are. Don't forget, if you like learning about music theory or playing trumpet or playing any instrument for that sake, and jazz of course, make sure you like and subscribe down below and let me know what you think about these videos. First and foremost, you should have a firm understanding of all major and minor scales, how they work, how to make them, what they are, what they sound like. These are the basic building blocks of everything we use here in the music world. I shouldn't say everything, but they're the basic step number 1, the first step, the ground layer of what you need to understand to be able to understand functional harmony, which is what most composers and musicians use when they write or play music. They should be all memorized. You shouldn't have to read them on a page. You shouldn't have to sit down and really think about them. At first, when you're starting, of course, think about them, but as you're going, they should become more and more natural with the continued use and practice of these scales. They're basically the alphabet. Do you know your alphabet? That's the question. All right, now second. Do you have an understanding of your basic triads and basic 7th chords? These are the foundation of how music works. They take the scales that we've just learned, and they take them from being a linear concept and make them more of a vertical concept, where we're taking those notes and we're stacking them on top of each other to make chords. You should know how to make chords at least. Triads and 7th chords are all over music, starting from middle school on up, starting from even elementary school on up. Using these triads and 7th chords are just basic building blocks of how music works and what we're writing and how we're writing it. If you're reading music in a band class, you're playing triads and 7th chords. You might not even know it. If you're reading music out of a lesson book, you're playing these triads and 7th chords. And I think if you had that understanding of what you're playing and had the ability to practice those things out of context, then putting them back in context with the music makes the music a lot easier and easier to understand. Alright, the third thing that you need to know is basic chord function. Now that might seem like a big leap here, a big advanced subject that is kind of scary and might scare people off, and I don't want to scare people off. Chord function's easy. It's just a matter of knowing what this chord does and what this chord does and how they're used. Basic chord function, basic chord function. If you guys are not hip to what that is, let me know in the comments below. I want to know so far, out of these 3 things, major scales and minor scales, triads and 7th chords, and basic chord function, let me know. Do you guys study those 3 concepts so far? Those 3 concepts are super important, and they're super easy to learn too. So after you've let me know down in the comments below, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 takes those chord functions and it lets you apply them to standard functional chord progressions. Progressions that we use in everyday music, from pop music, to jazz music, to classical music, to rap music, to rock and roll, to country, to singer-songwriter, every single type of music. Most types of music, 99% of music. Okay, statistics. A lot of music, from the very core understanding of what music is, uses functional harmony and functional chord progressions. So if you're hip to what those are, then you guys are probably doing pretty well, and you'll be ready for number 5. The 5th and most important thing that you need to know as a second-year musician studying music theory is how to change keys in secondary dominants. It's actually just taking all of that stuff and moving it to a different key. How does that work, that transition between those two? You can do this in this key, and you can do this in this key, connecting those two keys together. That can be a very beneficial thing when you hear it in your band music, when you hear it in your lesson book, when you hear it in the solo you're transcribing, the jazz solo you're transcribing. Making sure that you understand what the relationship is between these keys is a very helpful kind of thing that you can practice and study out of context and then bring it back in context when you're performing and playing. So, let me know. Did you guys know those 5 concepts? This was a quick video. I'm not going into detail about what these are. These are just 5 concepts you should know as a learning musician. Whether you are in elementary school, middle school, or an older musician, adult musician in college, or learning on your own outside of college, every musician deserves to have this knowledge, right? Every musician is capable of taking this mathematical portion and applying it to their ears and helping them. It helps them to understand what these concepts sound like and what these concepts are. So yeah, let me know. I'd love to help you out. In fact, I can help you out. I'm actually making and designing a summer music theory boot camp course for the everyday musician. If you guys are interested in that, I'd like to hear that below. I'd like to hear that by you clicking that subscribe button, or you going to my website, www.nm-music.org, and hitting the email subscribe button right there on the first page, that subscribe button there, to get on my email list. Once you're on that email list, I'm gonna send you updates on how to get into this useful theory for the everyday musician, the summer theory music boot camp live YouTube class extravaganza. I don't even know what I'm gonna call it yet. We'll find out. So yeah, if you guys are interested in something like that, I'm gonna make it an affordable class for every musician. And like I said, I want everyone to have this knowledge of how music works, what music is, and the math behind music. I think it's an essential skill and something that's left out of formal education a lot. Anyways, thank you so much for joining in. I think that's everything I have for you today. Please make sure you like and subscribe. That's the best way you can help out this channel. If you guys are interested in some private lessons, I do private lessons online or in person if you are near me in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, see you guys next time.